Hi there, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Clarity Edge. If you happen to be tuning in for the first time, please do comment and let me know if you can hear me. So, welcome. Yes. So, Clarity Edge is a. Oh, let me put it here. Hi, Clarity Edge, every Tuesday, 8 p.m. All right, my name is Vernon, and it is my pleasure to be here today. I finally managed to figure out a good setup for my computer as well as the various screens so that I can continue to engage everybody while having a nice background setup so that I can read all the comments from all the different platforms that this is being streamed out to. Okay, so a few things. We are a weekly Tuesday 8 p.m. program running for half an hour. We'll be talking about pro tips that will help you and me increase our business development chops. Okay, essentially, we want to help people achieve clarity through simplicity so that they can get profitability. Okay, today we're speaking about a topic that I am very passionate about. Something we're talking about, I'm very passionate about, okay, which everybody can see in the title over there. It's basically about ego and you. Okay, so let's go in. So today, these are the topics that we will be, this is one topic, but these are the different points that we will be talking about today. What is ego? How does it affect us, which is you and me? What can we do about it? And here are some pro tips, okay, to talk about it, right? Before we go really deep into this topic, if you happen to be tuning in for the first time, I would just like everybody to know that this is part of a larger syndicate of streams, right? So I normally do record some pre-recorded videos that we put on YouTube. I also will do random sharings throughout, whenever I am and wherever I am, and I normally put it through the private YouTube channel because I don't want to flood your screen, okay? So you will only be hearing video content from me on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Right? We started this. Yeah, maybe I should use this slide instead, right? So I started this Clarity Edge program every Tuesday during the circuit breaker moment where everybody was stuck at home. I found that it was quite useful, and I do have people texting me, PM me on the site saying that they really enjoyed the session. They thought it was pretty good. They wanted to have more, right? So I said, okay, I just continue. So that's the input that I have gotten. So yeah. The objective is to create deep and lasting impact in certain types of people's lives, right? Specifically, the people that are interested in business development as well as growth, as well as to become more effective leaders and individuals in their organizations, right? So this is why this whole thing started. So why is it called Clarity Edge? Well, I hope that clarity can give you and I an edge in life, as well as to achieve different things. Okay, if you are indeed here for the first time, do let me know if you can do let me know if you can hear me or if you cannot hear me. If you have any views and opinions regarding the topic that we're talking about today, I would love to hear your comments, right? So that I can, respond to them, whether or not you're watching this on recording or in live. Now, I do have many friends who do tell me that they watch this recording they watch this on recording and not live. I do hope you guys can drop by on Tuesday because the whole objective of doing stuff live is so that you can ask questions, right? Well, all right. So today, these are the topic that we're going to talk about. What is ego? How does it affect us, which is you and me? And what can we do about it? Okay. And tips on ego management. So let's go in, right? What is ego? The magic question. Okay. In case you do not know, the platform that I'm using, there is some lag, all right, that goes between me talking as well as me reading your comments. So whatever you type, I will probably read it a little bit later on. So do forgive me if I'm not responding it on time or timely. Just type your comments in here. If you're watching it for the first time, please let me know, what do you think ego is? If there's one word you can use to describe ego, what will it be? Okay, so there are many ways. Of course, we have managed to ask this question many times to many different individuals and persons. The answer we came up with a lot of keywords, right? Keywords like proud. Okay, this person is very proud. Okay, this person has a lot of pride. Okay, so that's called pride, right? Next thing is we talk maybe it's not about pride. Maybe this guy is very arrogant, right? He is, he behaves in a way that makes people feel that he's very arrogant. Now, what does that mean? Okay, have you met any people that are very arrogant or very proud? But is it wrong to be proud, right? If your kid do very well in school, you can't wait to tell everybody about how awesome your kid is in school and how many A's your kids get or his national team. I mean, is Joseph Schooling's dad not right to be proud of Joseph Schooling? I mean, let's just think about it, right? Is it the right way? Maybe the person's a show off, right? Keep talking about his car, house, bank account, handphone, or whatever. So there are many things, okay, to understand ego. Many definitions, many facets of understanding ego. Maybe it's another word, like people like to call this person full of himself. Now, what does that actually mean to be full of himself? Technically speaking, aren't you and me full of ourselves, actually? Right? Aren't we full of ourselves? As opposed to being full of what? Full of what else are we supposed to be full of, right? Other than ourselves. Can we be full of other people? Well, then you don't live for yourself, you live for others, right? How do we understand what is ego, right? Ego, of course, we can just go and Google, get a definition. But many times I found that the Google's definition might not necessarily be a useful or good definition for ourselves. I mean, empirically, like how do we actually use it and practice it? Okay. So what is ego? Pride, arrogance, show off, full of himself. How do we understand this, right? Okay. So first, okay, understand. Okay, basically whatever you just described just now, pride, full of himself, arrogance, all that stuff, right? We have to understand what is the source and what are the signs. Okay, if you're watching this for the first time and you happen to be on a computer, which unlikely so, okay, because nobody actually watch stuff on the computer these days, right? But if you're watching this on the computer and you have some opportunity to write something down, this is something that I would strongly encourage you to write down: is understand what is the source and what are the signs. Okay, so if somebody has flu, then he will have running nose. So if I ask you what is a flu and your answer is flu means running nose, then that is not really the full answer. Okay, if I ask you what is ego and what does it mean for a person to be an egomaniac, you say this guy is full of himself. Well, it's kind of like a flu and running nose kind of situation, right? Understand what is the source and what are the signs. Okay, the best way to understand what is what's the ego, right? Is to understand what is it, what category is it from, right? Essentially, ego is a mindset. Okay, ego, yes, it's an emotional state, your view of yourself, and all that kind of stuff. Yes, follow what psychologists say. Essentially, it is the mindset of a person. Now, what mindset are we talking about here? Again, there are many people have many definitions. You have your definitions as well. But the way I understand it, the way I make sense of it, okay, essentially the mindset that is not open to the possibility that one can be wrong. Essentially, if you're speaking to a person and this person is not wrongable, okay, that means the way this guy speaks, interacts, and communicates, presents himself such that he cannot be in a situation where he's wrong, then it is very likely that this person is a ego maniac or have big ego, large ego, right? There's this saying, they say they put the ego in the pocket. Now, what does that actually mean? Okay. Okay. Let's just ask a hypothetical question here. Okay, let's say this guy has a big ego. Now, if you say this guy has a big ego, is it a compliment or is it not a compliment? I think it's not a compliment. That means he's full of himself, very big, very bloated, or whatever, right? So big ego is not good. Okay. Therefore, does it mean that this guy's ego is small? So small ego is good, right? That kind of weird question to ask, right? So essentially, right? I feel that ego is about. I feel that ego is about. What's the right way of saying this? I feel that ego is about mastery, lah. If you can manipulate and move and package and crunch your ego or make it small or make it big, right? And I think that you have good control over your ego, and then you are a person of mastery. If you are not in control of your ego, and your ego is, if you're such a person that you can't even entertain the fact that you are wrong, and then whenever you are wrong, there is some justification that you will cite. There's an external related, aka giving excuses, then likely that you are an individual with very, very big ego. Okay. Personally, I have found myself in a situation where, of course, people do kind of think that guys that talk a lot have huge egos. And not necessarily true, because some people ego very big, very brittle. Also, crack a few jokes. He can crack jokes about other people, but when other people start cracking joke about him, it's a no and a no go. Okay, so that's an example of brittle ego. Okay, back to the point, right? So the point is that ego is a mindset of a person that had that person feel that he or she cannot be wrong. Okay, not it's a posture, right? Posture that, so for example, if I say, hey, is that two items or did I read it wrong? As opposed to, hey, it's three items are not two lah. How use your brain? So two ways of talking, right? One, of course, is a more humble and more less egomaniacal way of talking, and the other way is CB very arrogant and full of himself way of talking. So understand this, okay? Ego is all about the mindset that is not open to the possibility that he or she can be wrong. Okay, so basically, okay, wait. Okay, basically, when the person is not open to inputs, ego is likely the barrier. Okay, so if you find yourself in a position where you are not available for input, and this point is not for you to say, but it's for the people who work with you and who are around you to say. Okay, when they're not open to input, the ego is likely to be the barrier. Okay, essentially there are two things that prevents us from becoming better versions of ourselves. Okay, this is not according to me, it's according to Ray Dalio, author of the very famous book Principles. Okay, do check it out. Please Google this. Principles by Ray Dalio. Okay, it's a big black book, really thick, really worth your while reading. I can guarantee plus chop for you. In one of his chapters, he said there are two main things that prevent us from becoming better versions of ourselves. The first barrier is ego. Can you guess what is the second thing that will prevent us from becoming better versions of ourselves? Can you guess? The second thing are blind spots. Egos and blind spots essentially prevent us from becoming better versions of ourselves. Now think about it. Okay, just sit down and think about it. Sit down and think about it. If you're not willing to receive input, you cannot be wrong. I mean, so you cannot be wrong. That means you're not very good with receiving inputs, right? Will your number of blind spots be more or less? Stupid question. Of course, it become more. So there's a correlation between and so basically an egomaniac is a guy we have tremendous amount of blind spots. So basically, if your boss, your leader, or your business partner, or your teammate, right, is like not willing to receive any input from the boss around him, right? Guess what? This guy has so many blind spots. His decision-making process is so ill-informed. It will affect the quality of his decisions, and he will end up obviously in a bad position and losing money, opportunities, etc., etc. Okay, these are the 2 points. Okay, how does ego affect us? Okay, confidence and assurance. Okay, sorry, typo. Confidence and assurance are okay. It's close. Confidence and assurance is only one aspect. What am I? Sorry, man. I guess I was a bit drunk. Okay, essentially, confidence and assurance are only aspects of ego. Okay, they're not ego in its totality. Okay, A leader who doesn't listen will soon be surrounded by people with nothing to say. Now, if you have a huge ass ego, for example, not and people come to the conclusion and impression, whether is it true or not, it's not important. Their impression is their reality, and they will make decisions based on their impressions of you or the situation. Okay, that means to say, even if you are really humble, but people think that you are an egomaniac, guess what? They will treat you like an egomaniac, and they will give you resources according to you being an egomaniac. Which means if your team around you feels that you don't listen and whatever they say, you'll brush off, give excuses for yourself, and justify your decision making processes, guess what? They will not tell you anything. So, this is how a meeting of an egomaniac leader will look and sound like. Hi, team. Anybody got any things you want to add? Right? Everybody will just nod their head, say nothing. And when they leave the room, just like, hey, what a stupid idea, Vernon. I can't believe he actually thought it was a good idea. So they'll give they'll do the water cooler talk, but not in the boardroom, but around the water cooler. And the leader, in this case me, will be completely left in the dark. So an egomaniac essentially will be surrounded by people with nothing to say. He will make very poor quality decisions, and life sucks. Basically, the main damage, harmful ego, the main damage, in my humble opinion, the main damage done to a person with a huge ego is that he lack quality information flow inwards. That means people don't tell him stuff, people don't give him any input, people give him highly inaccurate input, people give him only what he wants to hear. If he or she happen to be a very powerful person, he will only hear things that sounds good. So it's not really good stuff. Okay? So, what can we do about egos and blind spots? Okay, what can we do, right? Few things. First, what we can do is we can have accountability partners. Okay, have people that will call us out whenever we do anything boo-boo. And be honest and be clear that these people are your accountability partners. Let many people and your team members as well as your external friends know these are your accountability partners. Anything you cannot tell me directly or you feel that you hurt my feelings, please go through them as feedback. They will come and tell me. So have good accountability partners will be good for you to keep your ego in check, right? You must have the humility. Of course, you must have the humility to accept inputs from people, right? If you're always very sensitive, argumentative, you always think that you're right, people are never right, you are always the smartest guy in the room, very soon you'll be right. You will be the smartest guy in the room because everybody who is smarter than you has already left it, leaving you behind to be the smartest guy in a room of nobody or in a room full of really weird people. Okay, so once again, have accountability partners, have relationship with people who are willing to call you out when you do something wrong, and have that kind of just have that kind of position with them, right? Next, I have a regular anonymous feedback opportunities. Okay, basically have regular feedback opportunities, right? So anonymous, right? So give out feedback forms, give out surveys, give out tests, give out stuff that nobody can actually. So people can always give. People always have an opportunity to come and tell you off, right? And they have the benefit, especially if you're a very powerful person, right? And you can't even be confident that people are giving you the right information because they're afraid of their opinion, they are afraid of your opinion of them and stuff like that. But you really want to know their opinion, you want to know their heart, but yet they're afraid, or they don't want to like get involved, or they don't want to bug you, or they don't want to look less than anything with them. So what you can do, you can have a lot of anonymous feedback opportunities, right? Next thing is your mindset. Consider information, right, as input and not insults. Okay. Now, what does that mean? You see, right, to the guy with the right mentality and the right mindset, good things. Okay, when to a person with the right mentality and right mindset, right, everything they hear, right, is information. And it's all feedback. Everything. Even you go up to the person and say, hey, John, you are a complete asshole. Clearly, that's an offensive statement and they're really going to whack the guy straight, right? But John will be like, okay, this is feedback. Why does he think I am an asshole? What did I do to be an asshole to this person, right? Let's reflect. Even if a person come to attack you directly, however, to the person with the wrong mentality and highly egomaniacal, you can go up to John and say, hey, John, great presentation. I wish it could be longer. Then you take offense. You say, "What is he trying to do? Who is he to give me? Who is he to give me feedback? I am such a great speaker. How can he tell me what to do?" Egomaniac speaking, right? So this is an example, right? Whenever you take any kind of information, right, always take it as input feedback instead of taking it as an insult. If your mentality is wrong, every damn thing is it's an insult to you. Everybody is your enemy. Everybody is conspiracy theorying around you and against you. You are like, woe is me. Life sucks because everybody is just against you. That kind of stuff. Okay, if you have that kind of mentality mindset, or you say that the only reason why I'm not successful enough in life is because I'm surrounded by people who are not helping me. If only they just wake up the idea and the blah blah blah. If your mentality is like this, then I'm thinking then you have an egomaniac problem. Okay, egomaniacs are not always big, loud mouth people who go around and shout and scream. Okay, egomaniac can be very silent, very deadly, very quiet, slowly leaking poison into your live stream. No, not every egomaniac is a huge like mega guy that goes around and look like Thanos and just big and intimidating. Some egomaniacs are really very small and tiny people, and they just just have this bitterness inside them. So that's ego for you, right? The inability or the mindset that makes them have the inability to perceive the possibility that they are wrong. They cannot accept input. All right. So understand this. Just consider information as input and not insults. Just understand this, okay, guys. Okay, here's a pro tip. Advance. Okay, here's the thing. Understand. Nobody can offend you. Only you can take offense. Okay, I repeat again. Only you can take offense. Nobody can offend you. Okay, that's why they call it. They don't take offense, but because only you can pick it up. But you can pick up the thing as offense, not. Not. I can never shove offense in your face, right? No matter how much put on the table, you need to pick it up. That's why I call it take offense. Okay. If you're easily offended, guess what, bro? You are the guy that is picking it up. Nobody blame but you. Okay, here are some pro tips, okay, that I have picked up over the years that help me manage it. I'm far from perfect, right? I try to handle this situation. I'm not perfect too, right? I still try to grow and change and stuff like that. But over the years, many things have happened to me that really gives me perspective in life so that I can, share with you, right? So you don't have to make these expensive mistakes that I have. Trust me, guys. I have lost so much in my life because I wasn't willing to listen and give input. Yeah, but that's just my sob story. Okay, here's some pro tips. First one, offense is taken and never given. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that means firstly, do not be offended, do not be insulted. Okay, insulted and offense is always taken. Nobody can offend you without your permission. You choose to pick it up. Okay, I can put any number of poison on the table. It is what you choose to take it out from the table and put it into your own mouth. I can put as much poison on the table as possible. If you choose to pick up none, guess what? You are not offended. Next point. All right, what people say is a reflection of them and not you. Okay, so if you are a very generous person, guess what? You are surrounded by other generous people. If you are not a generous person, guess what? You are surrounded by no generous people. If you are a thief, you'll be surrounded by thieves. If you are a crook, you will also be surrounded by crooks because you how you see the world yourself, you see other people as, right? So for example, somebody comes up to me and say, okay, let's say from John, I go up to John, hey John, I got something for you. Here, take it, all the best, or I wish you all the best. Then you'll be thinking like, wow, this guy surely he's up to something. He wants something from me, he wants to do something weird and strange. Not true. Okay, the person helping you truly out of his own generous heart. It is you, because you are a person that will never do something for another person without any hidden agenda. So your conclusion is everybody around you has hidden agenda. Okay. So that's the difference, right? What people say is a reflection of them, not you. So whenever you feel offended or you are on the verge of being offended and you see somebody says already something very cruel, very mean to you, very, very, really crazy and off. I mean, people giving you constructive feedback is okay, right? But people like just spreading like vicious rumors and just whacking you to know tomorrow. Your response is to go high when they go low, as what Michelle Obama says, right? So what people say is a reflection of them and not you. Once you understand this, you're cool. Next thing is something that I took me many years to figure it out. Whenever people should give me feedback, I'm always grateful when I receive feedback from other people. Be grateful they are already giving you feedback, okay? Until somebody you used to speak to all the time suddenly stops speaking to you, then you will understand that getting feedback alone is already something worthwhile. All right, so be grateful you're already getting feedback. Don't be too fussy about what form the feedback takes, okay? Be glad that you are already getting feedback from people, right? Okay, I just saw this comment by Gary. Offense is taken, never given. Yes, Gary. We can only become offended when we pick up the offense that people put in front of us. We are never forced to be offended. So, we will not be offended. We cannot be offended without our own permission. Okay. One like for Vernon. Yes, Daniel. Thanks. Okay, so be grateful you're already getting feedback. Okay, guys. Next, okay, blind drivers should not be too arrogant. Always remember, okay, my friends, if you think that taking offense and all this kind of thing, you rather just do your own thing and just cut everybody off from your life because you're the best guy in the world. Guess what? You'll be loaded with so many blind spots, right? You'll be dangerous to drive. Okay. So it's dangerous to operate a machine, an organization, or a team if you don't have your rear view mirror, your side view mirror, and your signal, right? So without all of these tools to help you run your organization, you're just a guy talking to yourself. You're just a leader in a room talking to himself and having a bunch of people just sit down, taking no initiative and waiting for you to give them instruction for every single thing. This is not the environment that you and I want to be in. I'm very sure. However, just remember the tip that I just said just now. Leaders that don't listen, aka arrogant and egomaniacal leaders, will soon be surrounded by people with nothing to say. Okay. So that's the main point I want to drive across today. So I shall summarize very briefly in the last couple of minutes of today's sharing. Okay, a few things. Number one, ego is a mindset where you, I wouldn't say it's you. Okay, so ego is a mindset where a person, okay, cannot consider himself being wrong about any particular thing. So therefore, he's not a very good listener. He's very defensive, very full of justification, not willing to even take in any input. Always remember when for people to give you feedback, whether is it a direct insult, a spit in your face, or a scold, all of them should be measured as information and input, aka feedback, something for you to ascertain. Okay, everybody always operate from their interpretation and version of reality, never reality itself. That means to say, my intention is not to do this, but if you think my intention is to do this, guess what? I'm dealing with your interpretation, not actual reality itself. Okay, so ego, you need to understand. If you are a person that's very egomaniacal, please take check of yourself. Essentially, what's happening is that you don't believe that other people have a better answer than you, other than yourself. And whenever you are proven wrong or put in a position of being wrong, you normally take offense and try to justify. This is a situation of a man of great ego. Not a great man, but a man of great ego. The greatest men in the world all have very little ego because they are like a open channel to information. Information flows his way. He's able to absorb it, make sense of it, decide it, come up with solutions, apply it, as well as mobilize different people to achieve various agendas and objectives that benefit the whole, if not everybody, in the organization. All right. So pro tips here. Just remember mindset. This is mainly mindset. Ego is a mindset game. So naturally, my solutions and my suggestions to you are all mindset based. Understand that offense is never taken. Offense is never given. It is always taken. All right. Nobody can offend you without your permission. And always remember, whatever people say about you or say around you or say at you is a reflection of them and not a reflection of you. Okay. It's their interpretation. So once you understand that whatever people say is an interpretation, a version of reality from them, you will be in a much better position to actually take it as input and feedback as opposed to a direct insult. All right, with that, thank you so much for making the time to be here this Tuesday evening. All right, I will be back here again next Tuesday evening, sharing my insights and opinions regarding all things business development as well as growth orientated. Every week, I meet different clients and different coaches and mentees, and we discuss a variety of topics. Right, sometimes certain topics happen to stick out for the week. I just wanted to immortalize my perspective and opinions on this channel, as well as my private channel, Clarity Edge, on Facebook, as well as my YouTube channel. Right. So therefore, the next time I have any kind of similar questions or opinions, I just can direct people to these channels, and they can go through the content and understand where I'm coming from. So if you happen to be my client, my friend, or my business partner who happen to be viewing this, right, don't be surprised. Some of our conversations and interactions might actually inspire me to cut a video on this topic. All right. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Again, check me out on YouTube as well as my private Facebook page, Clarity Edge, where throughout the day I will randomly talk stuff, and so that I don't spam everybody else here on the open Facebook channel. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys in the following week. Peace out.